So hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is the first video in our new SQL series where we will dive deep into important database concepts and solve real-time questions which is asked in actual interviews. So if you want to master SQL and ace your next technical round, this series is for you. Let's get started. So coming to the first problem, write a SQL query to find the customers who have never placed an order. So we should be first understanding when we should be using joins. So we should be using joins whenever there is a split of data across multiple tables. Okay. So there are data which is splitted across multiple tables to avoid redundancy. Okay. For example, customer information is stored in one table and orders information is stored in another table. Suppose there are two other tables, products and departments, which are stored in their respective tables. So whenever we need information that exists between these two or more related tables, we will be using SQL joins to combine the data based on a common column such as customer ID, order ID or department ID, which will be existing in both the tables. Okay. So in this problem, we should be first identifying what kind of join we should be using. So there are four types of join: left join, inner join, right join and outer join, which we normally use. Okay. So I'll tell you a pattern or trick to identify one kind of join pattern. That is, whenever you see the word never or not in your SQL problem, blindly go for left join. So whenever you see the word never placed or not ordered or not placed, like this kind of thing, you can go for left join. So what does a left join do? It joins the two tables on the basis of a common column. Okay. So it gives the matching values between both the tables and also gives the values which are not matched from the left table. Okay. So here we have customer table and orders table, and the common column between these two tables is customer ID. So customer ID column is the common column. So we'll be joining the two tables on the basis of customer ID. Okay. So the first row of customer ID will be matching with all the rows of the orders ID. I mean customer ID of the orders table. So 1 is matching with 1. So in the resultant table, 1, John and 101 will be there. So this is the resultant table of join of customer and orders table. Okay. So 1 is joining with the second row of customer ID. No, because the value of customer ID is not matching. So join is not there. Similarly, for the first row, is it matching with the third row of orders? No, the customer ID is not same, so it is not there. Similarly, it will happen for order ID, customer ID 2. So customer ID 2 in the customers table will try to match with all the customer ID of orders table. But how, which are the values it is matching with? It is matching with second row and third row. So in the resultant table you see two values for Alice. Okay. So for third row of the customer table, David, is there any value in the orders table? No. So 3, there is no value or corresponding customer ID in the orders table. So there is a null value. Okay. And 4 also, for Peter, there is no orders placed for Peter. So we are getting a null value because 4 is not matching with any of the rows of the orders table. Okay. So left join gives you all the values from the customer table as well as the common values between customer and orders table. Okay. So when we are using left join, we are getting David as well as Peter. But if we have used inner join, then we have got only 1 and 2, because 1 and 2 are the matching customer IDs in both the tables, customer and orders. So in order to get all the values from the left side of the table, we have to join on the basis of left join. Okay. So this is a small introduction which will help you to understand the problem. Then I'll write the code for you. So this is very much important, how we should be writing the code for left join. Okay. So we'll start from, this is basically what I follow. I do it from the order, according to the order of execution of writing the SQL statements. So I'll write from customer C. So from customer C, and then I will do a left join. So left join orders O. So on which column we will be doing the join? On C dot customer ID is equal to O dot customer ID. So C dot customer ID is the, it's referring to the customer ID column from customer table, and O dot customer ID is referring to the customer ID column of the orders table, and we are doing a left join. So this is the syntax you should be follow. So after doing this, we should be writing the select statements. So select C dot customer ID comma C dot customer name, because we are fetching the customer ID and customer name column from customers table, right? In the customer table, right? Both the columns are joined, but while referring to the columns, particular columns from that particular joined table, we should be using this alias. So C dot customer ID basically refers the customer ID column from the customer table. So C dot customer ID comma C dot customer name. Okay. And at the last, do we need, what is the ask of the SQL problem? Only find the customers who have never placed an order. So what do you think? Do we need the values for John, Alice? John or Alice is not required, right? Because we only need the customer name who have not placed an order. So at the last, we will write where O dot order ID is null. Okay. So this will give only the values of the customer name who are having the order ID as null. So this is the ask of the problem, that write a SQL query to find the customers who has never placed an order. So this will give you all the customers who has not placed an order. So left join is the go-to join for solving this kind of problem. Okay, so we'll understand more with another example. So coming to the next question, find the departments that have no employees. So I have already told you in the first question that whenever you see not or never in your SQL problem, you have to go for left join. This is a common identifying pattern for using left joins. Okay, so in this problem there are departments and there are employees table. Okay, and we need to find the departments that have no employees. Okay, so the resultant data after doing the left join will look like this. So department ID HR. So since it is the department ID is matching with the department ID of employees, we have HR. So we have HR in the resultant table. So 20 we have only matching with one column. So 20 is matching with, department ID 20 is matching with employees department ID 20. So in the resultant we have 20 IT2, but 30 department ID is not matching with any of the rows in employees. So for 30 finance we are getting as null. Okay, so we'll be getting this null value when only we are using left join, because it in left join what it does, it shows you all the matching values between both the tables as well as the non-matching values from the left table. Okay, so in the left table this is the non-matching value 30 finance, which is showing in the resultant table. Okay, so let us write the code. So in the similar pattern we will follow. We will first write the from statement. So from department D, we will giving an alias to department table D, left join employees E on D dot department ID is equal to E dot department ID, since department ID is the common column between these two tables. So then we will do the select statement. So select D dot department ID comma D dot department name. Okay, so we'll be selecting the columns from the department table, because these department ID and department columns are coming from the department table. So we'll be using D dot department ID in order to refer the columns from the department table. So D dot department ID comma D dot department name. At the last we will be using where E dot employee ID, because here in the resultant column employee ID, employee ID is coming from employees table. So in order to refer that, we will be using e.employee ID, where e.employee ID is null. So we will be fetching only those department IDs and those department names where e.employee ID is null. So in the resultant table, we will get the values for only one department, that is finance. So the resultant table will show like 30 finance. Okay. So coming to the next problem, find the products that have never been sold. So similar kind of problem in left join. So I'll leave it to you. You guys do it and write it in the comment section. Okay. So I'll just explain it. We have products table and we have sales table, and there are product ID, product name in the products table, and we have sales ID and product ID, okay, in the sales table. So the common column is product ID in both the tables. So you will do left join on the basis of product ID, and you will fetch only those products from the product table where sales ID is null. Okay, so I have told you how to do it. Just do the problem and write it in the comment section. Okay. So find the customer who has placed the highest total order amount. So we will be implementing a different kind of join in this problem. Okay. So first let's understand the problem. We have customer table which has customer ID, customer name, and we have orders table which consists of order ID, customer ID and amount. So we want that particular customer who has placed the highest total order amount. Okay. So in this problem, in order to get the order amount for each of the customer, right, we will be doing a inner join, because for each of the customer ID in the customer table we have the corresponding order ID, customer ID in the orders table. So we will be doing a inner join in order to get the amount for each of the customer. Okay. So after doing the inner join, this is the resultant table that we will get, that one of John first column, first row of the customer table will try to match with all the rows of the orders table. So one of John is matching with only first two rows of the orders table. So we will get one John 101 500 for the first row, and one John 102 and 800 for the second row. Okay. So the second row of the customer table is matching with only one row of the orders table. So we'll get only one row in the resultant table. Okay. And for 3 customer ID 3, we are also only have one row in the orders table which is matching. So we'll get only 3. So we have performed the inner join, and then what is the ask? We need to find the customer who has placed the highest total order amount. So here, what is the order amount of Alice? It's 1200. So what is the order amount of David? 900. So what is the order amount of John? Which is 500 plus 800. Okay. So since there are 2 order IDs for the customer John, we have to do the summation of the amount in order to get the total amount for John. Okay. So first let us do the inner join between both the tables. I'll write the query right. From customer C, inner join orders O on C dot customer ID is equal to O dot customer ID. So we are doing the join between 2 tables on the basis of the common column customer ID in customer table and orders table. Okay. Then we will do select C dot customer ID comma C dot customer name comma sum of O dot amount as total amount. So C dot customer ID, what does it refer? It refers the customer ID column from the customer table, and C dot customer name refers the customer name from the customer table. So after joining the tables, we are doing the aggregation. Okay. So after joining the tables, we are doing the aggregation on the amount column in order to get the total amount. The sum of O dot amount. So the amount column is coming from the orders table, right? So we are doing the aggregation sum of O dot amount as total amount. Okay. And we are doing the group by customer ID, that is group by C dot customer ID comma C dot customer name. So for each of the customer we will get the total order amount. Okay, and since the question was find the customer who has placed the highest total order amount, we will do a order by sum of amount DESC. So we will get the sum of amount in the descending order. After the group by is done, we will get the sum of amount who has the highest amount first, and then the second highest amount in the second, so in the descending order. And we will limit only the first row. So only limiting the first row, what we will get the highest order amount sales for that particular customer. So here the aggregation is working on only one customer ID, that is for John, because John has multiple order IDs. Okay, so after aggregation the order amount of John will become 800 plus 500, that is 1300. But for customer ID 2 and 3, that is for Alice and David, they do not have multiple order IDs, right? So there the aggregation will not be happening and their order amount will remain 1200 and 900 respectively for Alice and David. So after aggregation, John is becoming the person or the customer who has contributed to the maximum order amount, right? Because 800 plus 500, it is becoming 1300, which is greater than 1200, that is of Alice and David. So John will be the final output. So coming to the next question, find the number of employees in each department. So we have employees table and department table, and department ID is the common column between the employees table and the department table. Okay, so in order to find the number of employees in each department, we need to perform inner join between the department table and the employees table, because each of the employee in the employees table has their corresponding department. Okay, so we don't have any of the employee who doesn't have a department. So you can check it from the table itself. So each of the employee ID has their corresponding department ID, and each of the department ID has their corresponding department name in the departments table. Okay, so in this case, in order to find each of the employees department, we need to perform inner join. Okay, so we will be doing the inner join on department and employees, keeping department table on the left. So after inner join, the table will look like department ID, department name, employee ID and employee name. And so we are doing the inner join between department table and employees table, keeping department table on the left. So we will check the first row of the department table is matching with only one row of the employees table, that is of John. Okay, so in the resultant table we are getting 10 HR, 1 and John. So similarly for the second row of the department table, it is matching with two rows of the employees table, that is with David and Peter. So that's why we are getting for department ID 20, we are getting two rows for David and Peter. And similarly for department ID 30, we are getting one value which is matching with the employee Alice. So we are getting one value for department ID 30. So this is how the resultant table will look like after inner join. Okay, so we will write the query from department D. Since we are keeping the departments table on the left, we'll write from department D inner join employees E on D dot department ID is equal to E dot department ID. Okay, so both the tables are joined on the basis of inner join, and we will be selecting which columns. We'll be selecting D dot department ID comma D dot department name, which represents the department ID and department name column from the department table. Okay, and we will use count star in order to count the number of employees in each department. Okay, so in order to get the number of employees in each department, we will just do group by D dot department ID comma D dot department name. So it will group by D department ID and department name. So it will show the count of employees for each department ID and each department name. Okay, so number of employees who are working for that particular department under a new column which we have named as. So giving a small summary of join and its types, we have already discussed left join and inner join in our SQL hands-on problems. Okay, So for left join, what we are doing, on creating a resultant table from two existing tables, we are taking the matching values between the both tables and all the non-matching values from the left table. Okay. So for right join, what we will do, for right join, we will take all the matching values between both the tables and all the non-matching values from the right table. Okay. On creating the resultant table, we will take all the matching values from both the tables as well as all the non-matching values from the right table. Okay. On inner join, what we did only we take the matching values between both the tables. Okay. In the resultant table, we take only the matching values between both the tables and we exclude values in table A as well as the values in table B. Only the matching values between both the tables should be included. Okay. And in full join, what we are doing, we are taking all the matching values between both the tables as well as all the non-matching values from table A as well as from table B. So everything will be included in the resultant table. All the matching values will be included and all the non-matching values from both the tables will also be included. Okay. So if you liked this video, kindly like and subscribe to the channel to get more videos like this. Okay. It will really motivate me a lot. Thank you so much.